And just going through the last year, how is that just what have you learned just about yourself or about players or relationships? I guess just from a
Yeah,
coaching
yeah,
standpoint, I mean, this had to be quite a crash course this last year, I would think.
yeah. It was. I think this past year was the greatest challenge of applying the things that you've learned, and I've always believed in in just relationships and trying to be as fair as possible. There's a balance there. You have to hold everybody in your organization accountable every day, and that's very challenging. And sometimes that takes a heavy hand, and other times it takes a lot of love and support. But I think the big thing is having a clear vision on what we want to do, who we want to be, how we want to do things, and making sure our coaches and our players are doing that every day. I feel like this last year was certainly, one of the greatest challenges, whether I was an assistant coach, a coordinator, or a head coach, for many different reasons. And I think it put us all to the test. And, there's things I feel like we did well. And I think there's things that I feel like we certainly can do better. And, but I also think it does circle back to, um, you know, understanding and you know, um, understanding and really um, reinforcing the things that you already know, how important, the communication and the relationships and being around your players and getting in front of them every day and helping lead them, is so important. For all of us coaches, whether you're a head coach, coordinator, or a position coach, having those relationships and getting around your players is the most important thing. And it was certainly a challenge this past year with COVID and with the ability to all be in the same room and do the things that we normally do.
With the relationship part, I would think that had to be a big factor in some of the when the guys transfer, especially into the program. Wan'Dale is the one I'm most fascinated by because I watched him in high school, covered him in high school, and followed that recruitment. And he obviously committed to you guys and then flipped. But I guess how can you maybe walk back to 2 or 3 years ago and how that played out, or and kind
Yeah,
of what the conversations were like and how you kind of I guess reestablished.
I'll say this: I've always had strong relationships with guys that when you develop that, in recruiting, when you develop the friendships and the relationships in recruiting, I've always prided myself on keeping those, whether they come back, whether they transfer back, or they go on to have a great relationship. There's, I'll give you, for instance, I don't want to name names on these guys, but there's guys that did not come here, that went to a high profile school, they're playing in the NFL, and that I keep in touch with and helped me get my son, one of his favorite players in the NFL, a signed jersey for Christmas. And he went and he played at a different school, but he and I are close. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel awkward asking a favor. You know what I mean? Because he knows I'm here for him if he needed a favor. I think I've always prided myself on keeping those relationships. With Wan'Dale specifically, that was a definitely a difficult situation for everybody involved, because I know we were very close, and he was obviously very important to our program in the state, and that does get personal at times, and it gets hard. But also you bury that. In all families you have differences, and you have arguments, and so I don't want to get into great detail, but the bottom line is Wan'Dale knew how we felt about him. He trusted that myself and our staff and this community would welcome him back. Well, the same thing I told him years ago, I'll tell him now, is that he's very important to our program. I work every day extremely hard to help him. I know he'll help us win football games. I know he'll be a great player. You know what I mean? And whether it's him or any of our players, I need, I take it serious to sit here. I'm sitting at my desk right now. I'm sitting in my office, and every day I'm here. It's important for me to help them, whether that's putting quality people around them, whether it's putting a great nutritionist in front of them that's passionate about helping them, whether it's strength and conditioning, whether it's academic people, whatever it is. I work hard for them, and I want to help them achieve their goals. And I think Wan'Dale knows that.